Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, everyone? What is up? What is up? Okay. So this clip, hopefully y'all check my description box. It's really short. If you haven't checked out the video in my description box, check it out. It's only like I guess 30 seconds long or something like that. So it's not something you're gonna miss too much of me speaking if you check it out. And yeah. So this video has been making its rounds along with a couple of others. This is a interview with Shannon Sharp and Steve Harvey. And to do Steve Harvey some justice, there is also another clip floating around where Shannon Sharp pushes back on what Steve Harvey is saying in this video. And Shannon Sharp says, "What about the women that says, I don't need no man?" And Steve Harvey says, how's that working out for them? What you mean you don't need no man? You could, okay, fine, you could do whatever men can do, but do you want to? And so, we're not gonna, beat up on Steve too much. Yes, we are, but okay. Now let's get into our critique of this. These are the older men that keep women single. These are the men that, shout out to the brother G Serotonin. This is who G is speaking about when he's speaking about, speaking to the elders about their mothers, the young men speaking to the elder men about their mothers, and the men chastising the young men. Steve Harvey has, shown us an example of what G speaks of often, right? So, you know, in this clip, Steve Harvey says, that's what's wrong with these men today. Asking women what do they bring to the table, and et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, so these are the men that raised a-hole daughters. These are the men that raised mean daughters and sassy daughters and entitled daughters and princess syndrome daughters, right? Regardless if your daughter's educated or not, regardless if she's self-sustaining or not, Steve Harveys of the world, excuse me, are the ones that raise these particular daughters, right? These are the fathers that were involved in their daughters' lives. Yes, they were. They were involved in their daughters' lives. They took them out. They showed them how a woman should be supposed to be treated, and they raised brats, entitled a-hole brats, right? These are the fathers of the daddy's girls, right? These are their fathers. When you come in contact with a woman, when you take her out on a date or two, and she tell you how great her dad was, right? And daddy ain't raised no fool and all that other stuff, and she tell you she's a daddy's girl, etc., etc. And she sounds delusional as hell, and she tell you what men are supposed to be and what men are supposed to do. Steve Harvey is her dad, right? The Steve Harveys of the world are her dad. And yeah, they might do a little pow pow on her every once in a while, a little reprimand, a little light reprimand every once in a while. But I want these men to understand, the Boomer brothers, shout out to y'all. Those of you that did a good job, you were in your children's lives. Those of you in your 60s and 70s, you raise brats. That's why your daughter's still single. Yeah, you could speak about your sons and they're immature and they don't want to, do work, and they don't want to, deal with women, and they think it's all about them. And especially for the brothers that are upwardly mobile and they got their college degree, they think the world revolves around them. Yeah, all of that talk. You raised brats. That's why your daughters are single. That's why your daughters ain't telling you that they always got a situationship, but they don't have a relationship, and they never are in a relationship. That's why your daughter hasn't bought anybody the Thanksgiving dinner in 5 years. For all you fathers and you uncles out there, your daughters and your nieces haven't bought somebody to Thanksgiving dinner or to the Christmas hangout or to Grams or your mothers. 85th birthday, 87th birthday, 90th birthday, they haven't bought a man with them because they're brats and they're a-holes. So even for your daughters that got gifted with the Lucky Sperm Club and they look good, they're attractive, and they're educated, you want to know why they can't keep a man? Because you raised an a-hole. You raised a delusional, entitled a-hole brat. So yes, she's 28 or 32 or 37 or 45, and she's a brat. And that's why she can't keep someone. Because you pretty much told her she has a womb and that's all. Oh, and she's educated? Oh, God. Baby girl, don't let no man do this. Baby girl, don't let no man do that. That sound nice. 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, what happened? Huh? What happened? If it's really the men that are the problem in the black community, then I have to beg the question once again, why are your sons more married than your daughters? By about 500,000. Actually, a little bit more than 500,000. Huh. Why are your sons more married than your daughters if your sons are the problem? Surely many of you sent your daughters to PWIs, right? Predominantly white institution, for those of you that don't know. For some of you, your daughters went to mixed high schools. So why doesn't she have the white or Latino husband then? Because she's an a-hole, right? You raised entitled brats. And you know, before we even get to race, the white girls are on the same thing. Some of the Latinos are on the same thing. Some of the Asians are on the same thing. Y'all raised a generation or two of a-hole entitled brats. And then, God forbid, she's institutionally educated. Oh boy. Nothing funnier than some woman telling you about all her homegirls. What did Tommy Lawrence say? All my friends, they're kick ass, they're educated, they're this and that and that, and they can't keep that. What? Yeah, because y'all are brats. That's why, Tommy Lawrence, because y'all are brats. Y'all are a-holes. Y'all should have never gave men the internet and internet porn. Sorry. Y'all should have never gave men video games where they could play online with friends. You're bad. We'll find other things to do with our time than entertain a a-hole entitled brat. Regardless of her career, regardless of her education. And Steve is saying this, Steve, what are you, on your third wife or your fourth wife? Yikes. Right? Right? Marjorie Harvey. That's what? Lori Harvey's the mother of Marjorie Harvey. Isn't that like what? Your third, fourth wife? What are you talking about? What are you saying? The problem with these young men today, they asking women, what do you bring to the table? Her womb is the table. Well, half of these women don't want to have kids anyway. Right? They're telling you they want to be a stay-at-home mother or a stay-at-home wife anyway. The other half are telling you they want to be some kick-ass career woman and have their child at the very last minute before menopause anyway. They're freezing their eggs anyway. So what are you talking about, sir? Right? What are you saying? Y'all raise these entitled brats, these mean girls, and then when they become adults and they can't be with a man for more than 5 seconds, then you turn around and blame the men for it. Right? Then you turn around and blame the men for it. These girls are all over social media. I don't get said I love you consistently. I'm touch starved. I haven't been on a date in how long? We go to the club, me and my friends. No one tries to buy us drinks. I went on a date with a guy. He left me right there at the table. Y'all raised a-hole women. That's why they're having these experiences. And I'll pause right here. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Give Mr. Z 1 second. So now, and I'm back. So now when we come into contact with women and she tells you, oh yeah, my dad was part of my life and very instrumental in my life and very crucial, and you date her and she's like, you're like, okay, she seems okay, and then she come out of left field on some entitlement stuff. And the ones that tell you, oh, my daddy said, my daddy said, and that's, you know, the good and the bad of it. Sometimes it's not the worst thing in the world. And then sometimes it is. And their dad is Steve Harvey. Their father is Steve Harvey. Right? For you to say, the problem with these men, it's our job to take care of women. That's not the social contract anymore, Mr. Harvey. And if you go on the two videos that the two pages that I saw this from was Black Millionaire, and then and this is on Instagram, by the way, and now it's on the Shade Room on Instagram. Instagram, when I last checked, Instagram had posted it 2 hours prior, and it already had 15,000 views. And it's a whole lot of men copping please, and a whole lot of women say, "Yeah, tell him, Unc Harvey." Okay, and this is why y'all are single as hell, right? This is why, because nobody wants to. Okay, granted, cool. Your sons are immature. Yeah, they don't want to man up. Cool. All of that. All of that. What's the incentive? Uh-oh. The vagina. We pop in your daughters anyway. What else is the incentive? And that's for the men that are. 1/3 of men under 30 aren't. So go figure. What's the incentive? Fine, your sons are immature. All right, granted. And your daughters are what? Right? And your daughters are what? They're just cake to get along with, right? They're just easy. And y'all pause right here. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring this to you guys. Um, it's interesting, like I said, it's making its rounds on the social medias, and people are commenting on it, and like I said, Steve did, pull back just a little bit when Shannon pushed back. It's on another clip. It's not on the clip that I have linked in my description. So give him a little bit of grace with that. But his initial comment, and if Shannon Sharp had not pushed back, Steve Harvey's comment would have stand. He would not have corrected, right? And it's important that we remind ourselves. So the Black Urus of the world and the BGSs of the world, they're rare. They're rare, right? And shout out to Artisan MC of the world. I know he has a daughter also, right? They're rare. The fathers that are involved in their daughters' lives and didn't raise brats, entitled a-holes, right? But many of these other fathers tried to overcompensate because they were Rolling Stones, because they were the ones out here on the streets, because they were the ones piping all these different women, cheating on their wife, whatever the hell ever. They raised their daughters to be not naive. That's good. Not gullible. That's good. And complete a-holes. Well, right? You would think the women with fathers in their lives would know how to get along with men. Yikes. Nope. And I want to emphasize that your daughters are mean. I say that often, and people are like, yeah, like they play it off. No, 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 no. Your daughters are mean and they get off on it. They're sassy for no reason. They think it's endearing, and you're a man. You know what that means. Your sassy daughters, you know that turns you on. You want a pipe, and you ain't gonna do nothing else with that. We already know what this is. Oh, because it's your daughter, which you think the rules change. Oh, the rules ain't changed. The rules didn't change. Your sassy daughters that walk around here like it's all about them, all men want to do is pipe. The egotistical a-holes, if they're physically attractive, all men want to do is pipe. Y'all know how the game go. It didn't change just because you're her father. Right? The game is the game. So you continue telling your daughters they don't have to bring nothing to the table except some degree with some debt attached to it, and a womb that 7, 8, 12, 13, 25, 37, 86, 120 different dudes done been through. Yeah, that's it. Keep telling your daughters that they are the table. Yeah, they're gonna be a table by themselves. No chairs at the table, no food on the table, no eating utensils on the table. It's just gonna be the table. Have fun with that. Fine, your daughter's the table. A table with nothing on it, nothing to eat on it, no chairs, no nothing. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. And there's low hanging fruit. There's so many different ways we could go at Steve Harvey, right? There's so many different ways, but it's too easy. That's why I only mentioned Lori Harvey a couple of times. It's too easy. It's too obvious. It's too easy, right? For those of you that didn't hear the 42 Doug song with Future, there's an uncut version where Future really tell you what was going on. That whole tell Steve Harvey I don't want her, there's an uncut version floating around on YouTube where Future really tell you how that ended. It didn't make the radio edit or whichever one, the music video, whatever, but the uncut version, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's no reason to belabor the point too much. I just wanted to come in and talk to y'all about this because this video is making the rounds. This clip, everybody's copping please. The women are saying with predictable stuff, and a lot of the brothers are copping please, and yeah, cool. And have fun watching your daughters be single until you pass, and maybe never having grandchildren from your daughter, and definitely not ever walking her down the aisle. Have fun on that. Have fun never watching your daughters walk down the aisle. You want to know why? And I grant you everything. Your sons are immature, and yeah, your daughters are brats. But we talk about our sons being immature all day, every day, right? Oh yeah, that's a conversation no one could get out their mouth, particularly in the black community. And no one could stop talking about how immature our sons are, and how they're not stepping up to the plate, and how they're not real men. What about this 37-year-old little girl you got over here with the emotional bandwidth of a paperclip, right? What about this emotionally immature little girl that you raised over here? Yeah, okay, your sons are immature, and your daughters are what? Emotional arrested development. Talking about, I need a man to reassure me. Lady, you're 42 years old. You're 32 years old. You're 28 years old. What are you talking about? I need reassurance. What? All these emotional brats. And all anybody want to talk about is, you know what? Let me tell you what's wrong with these men today. Okay, all right. For the one zillionth time, we're criticizing men, particularly young men, and we're laying the blame of why so many of our children aren't married and aren't having their own children. We're blaming that on the men. How has that been working for the past 5 decades? Oh, wait, it hasn't been working. Yeah, that's it. And everywhere you go, it's somebody copping pleas for the women. Everywhere you go. Meanwhile, at least in the black community, your sons are more married than your daughters. And it's always interesting when people mention, yeah, but the divorce rate for black women and white men, yeah, that sound nice if you could get them. And what does that mean if black men have a higher divorce rate, particularly when they date interracially, and yet they still have more than 500,000 more marriages than the women? Hmm. Huh. Mean a-hole daughters. Sassy, unwarranted sass, right? Unwarranted sass, entitled, mean, and I didn't even get into the ones that are really not feminine at all. I'm not even talking about that. But go ahead, Steve Harvey. Pile on to the, let me tell you what's wrong with the men today. Yeah, that's it. And what also comes with this is that whole concept of offering your way through, right? Like if you if you just offer your way through, the women will see that on you and they won't. They're drunk off of their concept of liberty, and there is nothing wrong with that. You just have to find the men that are okay with providing you security for your freedom from men, even though you want a man, but you don't want to be relying on a man, and you don't want to need a man. You barely want a man, but you still want a man to provide you security in a relationship where you don't really need him and barely want him. What? Mrs. E, everything you said don't make no sense. I know. Right? Exactly, Indigo Flow. And Indigo Flow says, let me tell you what's wrong with the men. Never heard that one before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, be prepared to just watch your daughters be single. Nothing wrong with that also. And then be prepared to hear from your wife. You know, such and such told me she was crying, in her apartment last night because yeah, yep, yep. And be prepared to see your daughters posted on TikTok how to touch starved. And be prepared to see your daughters posting other videos about how they went to the club or the bar and no one bought them drinks. And be prepared for your daughters to tell you how men are leaving them right there at the table on these dates, leaving them, right? We have so thoroughly deferred to our daughters, to our sisters, to our nieces, to our girl cousins about their experiences. We discount what the men and the boys are saying, right? Your daughters aren't looking for leaders. They're not looking for protectors. They're barely even looking for providers. When they say provider, they mean walking wallet at the highest level. When they say protector, they really mean cleanup man and cheerleader. And when they say leader, once again, they mean someone that's going to come and help them clean up. Once again, because what they really mean by leader is that she leads from behind. She ego strokes you, and when things go wrong, now it's your time to clean up. But she's really the one leading. Aina pack anyone. You see what I'm saying, Trell? Or you can teach your daughters how to box, pun intended. Right? Exactly. You can teach your daughters how to box, pun intended. And that's why 23% of them say they're on the sliding scale of some type of bisexual. Exactly. The beauty is if you search through enough comments on Selkish Ray, on Chrissy, on Paris Milan, on Real Talk with Yanni, every once in a while, one of them will just outright come out and say it and get right up on that lesbian line, on that same sex loving line. Right? They'll get right up on it. And by the way, nothing wrong with that. You could do your same sex loving thing and you could lie about it. Right? I just believe in love and yeah, that's yeah, cute. Right? So shout out to all you fathers out there, um, raising level-headed daughters, not to be pushovers of men, but at the same time, not to be entitled, spoiled, a-hole brats. Just raising them to be a decent human being and be a good person. But for all you other fathers out there, well, especially those of you you have a pretty daughter, she's educated, and she stays single. She 35, 36, 38. She still you still ain't seen no man yet. What you think that is? Yeah, because she's running into that many immature men, right? Yeah, that's it. She's running into that many immature men, boys that want to play with their toys. Yeah, that's it. Okay, right. So, all right, you guys, that's 35 minutes. I'm about to end it out. Um, y'all like, share, subscribe. Hit the thank you button for the replay squad. I just want to respond to this video. As I said, there is a accompanying video where Shannon Sharp pushes back on Steve Harvey and does say, what about the women that say they don't need men? And Steve Harvey walks it back just a little bit. Um, but this clip to me this was important to review because you have fathers that raise daughters and they think like this, right? And yes, that doesn't mean all the daughters of fathers like Steve Harvey end up single and miserable. And no, Mr. Z is not saying that. I'm not going to be hyperbolic here. But for those of you that are coming into contact with entitled brat women, and they tell you about my daddy this, my daddy that, this is their daddy. This is their daddy, right? And this is why they sound the way they do, and think the way they do, and feel the way they do, right? So, on that note, y'all have a great rest of your night. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will pause right here. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non Manosphere content, and Mr. Z out. All right, you guys have a great rest of your night.